Hey guys, what's up? This is the College Football Experience. We are here.
And here we go with another episode of the Extra Point Podcast with the College Football Experience. We are the College Football Experience. I am Gus. That is Will. And we're back. It's summertime. College football's cranking up. You can feel it going. And I'm excited to be here talking with y'all today. Will, how you doing, my friend? We are missing Cody this afternoon. He had a baseball game that he's in, but he sends his regards. And we're going to be back later with another episode with him. But Will, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here. Man, we're about 2 months away from college football. We can feel it in the air.
Dude, you can feel it in
man.
the air. Yes. I mean, and it's just that time of year where, like, everyone starts talking about the win totals. Everyone really starts breaking down the schedules. And you kind of get some people start to give some predictions. And that's kind of what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be breaking down two of the national title favorites, Texas Longhorns and Ohio State Buckeyes schedules. We're going to go over their win totals as well. But before we do that, y'all continue to subscribe. We're slowly ticking up. We're trying to reach 100. Trying to reach 100 subscribers, and y'all just keep viewing. Y'all keep subscribing. Y'all can also check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if y'all don't want to watch on YouTube. All right, well, do you want Ohio State first or do you want Texas first?
Let's go Ohio State first.
Let's go Buckeyes first. The Ohio State Buckeyes over-under is only 10.5. That's still one of the highest in the country. And with the over, it is juiced to the over at minus 150, and the under is plus 110. When you take a look at this schedule, I mean, there's really 5 games that stand out. They start with Southern Miss, Western Michigan, Marshall on the road at Michigan State. They welcome Iowa into the shoe. They go on the road to Oregon. That's a massive game. And then they welcome Nebraska. They go to Penn State. They host Purdue at the Northwestern practice field, host Indiana, and then they host – this says a team up north, but we all know who they're talking about. Their daddies, the Michigan Wolverines. Well, I mean, I think the first 3 games we can chalk up as wins. So let's start this. They go on the road, their first road game, they go and play Michigan State with new head coach Jonathan Smith. We can pretty much both count that as a win, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them having an issue with that. Unless it's just one of those weird noon Big Ten games where they're just not woken up. But I see Ohio State taking care of business. I think like we kind of discussed when we did a little update on them, this is probably the best roster they've had in a while. If they can figure out their quarterback situation, who's going to be the quarterback, then this team is loaded with talent.
And then this is probably their most difficult stretch of this schedule, where they welcome Iowa into the shoe, who we all know they have some bad offensive woes, and those are probably going to continue this season. But everything I've been hearing about Iowa, this is going to be one of their better defenses ever, they're saying. So that could be a sneaky game, especially before they're going to Oregon. That could kind of be like a little look-ahead spot. But I see Ohio State getting it done. I don't think that Kirk Ferentz is going to be able to whip up anything to be able to beat Ohio.
Yeah, it'll be one of those games where we're going to be like, oh, man, what's going on with Ohio State? And, when it's halftime and it's like 10-0. And then we look later in the third quarter and it's 31-0. I mean, it's going to be one of those. It's like a slugfest for them. I don't see this being a close game when it gets late in the fourth quarter. But especially with it being at home, dude, they just don't really lose at home that much.
Yeah. Something that I will say is this is going to be back-to-back weeks where it'll be 2 very physical games. them having to play Iowa. How beat up are they going to be coming out of that game, flying across the country, having to go to Eugene the following week, which we can go ahead and jump into that game. I mean, that's probably the Big Ten game of the season, possibly.
Yeah, we might see it again later in the year.
That is possible.
But yes, this will be college game day.
100%.
This game, I hope it. Have they announced this time yet for this game?
That's what I was about to talk about too. This game, I think it'll probably, because whenever you look at the Big Ten, they have Fox, NBC, and CBS. This will probably be either the 3:30 CBS game for them, or it will be like that 7:30 nightcap NBC game, because I don't think they would I don't think they do like a big noon kickoff out West
Coast. I would hope
this
not.
Big of a game,
just for our sake, and they're the players. I mean, they don't want to be playing at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. in the morning.
I mean, this is just such a tight game though, because you look at these teams; they're both so physical across the defensive line. They're both really good. Well, not really good offensive line. They have really good experience at the quarterback. They both took transfers. Oregon got Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, formerly of UCF. And then they got at Ohio State, they got Howard from Kansas State. So which of those quarterbacks, I would say, is not going to lose the game?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun, interesting game. I think this is probably one of the games you circle when you look at the weeks. You're like, I'm looking forward to this one. So this is a toss-up game.
I think the line's
if I had to say right now
to Ohio State.
Yeah, if I had to say right now, I'm going to give the edge to Ohio State just with the experience on the defense. And then with the weapons on the outside of offense, and then they have the 1-2-3 punch at the running back room. I would give the edge to them. So I would go Ohio State right here, and then I think this would help me hit the over on that 10.5.
Yeah, this is the game you're really looking at.
Yeah, if they can win this game, man, they could most likely hit the over. But if they lose this game, it's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to really be squeezing it out if you do decide to take the over. This isn't an Oregon episode, but this might be – could this possibly be the biggest home game in Oregon football history?
It's one of them. Definitely, they've had some big ones in the Pac-12, but like with Oregon being – probably a top 5 team, Ohio State being probably the second-ranked team of the country, this will definitely be one of their biggest moments, and to get to show the country what their home field atmosphere is all about.
Yeah, I mean, because it's their first prime time massive game in the Big Ten, and then after those 2 physical games against Iowa and on the road at Oregon, then they have to come home. And they have to face what some people are calling the Big Ten dark horses here in Nebraska. And though I think Ohio State just wins this game because they have a better head coach, they have the more talented roster. I mean, this could be an upset game because they're coming off of 2 really physical games. They're looking forward to the Penn State game. I think if Ohio State gets upset this season, specifically at home, I think it's by the Cornhuskers.
This is the only thing that helps them out with this. This is after a bye week. So they get a week off going into Nebraska. So I definitely think that helps them. And plus, I got to see how this freshman quarterback's playing by then. Yeah, if this was at Nebraska,
watch out.
I would, but man, at home, they're coming off a bye week. I feel pretty good about this game. I think up front, Ohio State will eventually take over in this. But Nebraska will be better this year. I'm excited to kind of see what they're going to bring to the table. But to keep it on Ohio State, I think they're going to take care of business just because they're coming off of a bye week. a well-needed bye week. I mean, 6 straight games, 2 very physical games at the end there. And then they're going to be getting ready for this last little stretch here. But I think the next game is where they're going to have to watch out, because I don't know if they've announced this game yet, but it more likely is going to be a noon kickoff, which sucks. I mean, this should be Penn State's whiteout every year, every chance they get. If it was at night, man, I would think Penn State could upset them, but that's the game I'm looking at that could be Ohio State's down, like where they could get upset, is at Penn State.
Because we have seen them go to Penn State before and struggle. They've won really close games and they've lost really close games there. So, I mean, I think Penn State, if they can get better run blocking on the offensive line, if they can play a little bit more better run defense, and if Drew Allar can really kind of be able to make a name for himself, then I think that would be a really big win be a really big game for Penn State to get it. And then they come home and then they face Purdue. And that should be a win. That should really be a win. And then they go on the road to Northwestern. That's also going to be a win. And then Indiana, win. There ain't really much to talk about there. Then the team up north comes to town. You have to win this game if you're Ohio State.
Yes, this is the biggest game on the schedule, without a doubt. Just because of the way the last 2 years has went, they've beat you up front physically. They have kind of dominated you in a way at all phases of the game. And they've hit you in the mouth a few times. And you got to answer this year. It's at home. Last time they were at your house, they put it to you. So this is the game. I know they have this one. They got the clock in their facility. It counts down to this game specifically. And I know Ryan Day wants this game really bad. For some reason, I don't really know if Ohio State fans say this, or this is just the general media, or this is just dumb, casual college football fans having him on the hot seat if he loses this game. I just don't know, man. I just don't think I would. Who's better out there for Ohio State than Ryan Day?
Yeah.
I just don't know. But this is definitely their biggest game of the year. They need to get by them this year. I mean, Michigan's kind of reloading. They lost majority of their roster, their quarterback, all their weapons. So this is – yes, and you – have one of the best rosters that you've had in a while. So you need to take care of business. Yeah.
I mean, just kind of talking to the Ryan Day hot seat, if he doesn't win this game, I think if they go 10-2 with this roster, they got to ask questions. Because it's 10-2 with possibly the best Ohio State roster. What Urban Meyer and what Jim Tressel are saying, the best roster ever. Like, this is one of the best consolidations of talent that they've ever had at that university ever.
I just need to see what the quarterback can do. I think everybody else on the team is fine. The quarterback position has just kind of held them back last year in a way.
Yeah.
Not saying he didn't play well. His stats look great. If you look at his stats, but he just didn't make the plays in the biggest game of the year.
Yeah. And so I'll be real interested. I would say that my ceiling for Ohio State is obviously 12-0. And I'll say the floor is 9-3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think mine's 10-2. Ceiling's 12-0, but floor is 10-2. I just don't. God, the only game, I mean, if they lose to Oregon, then
if they lose to Oregon, then they can lose to Penn State. If they lose to Penn State, then they can lose to Michigan.
Yeah, but this team is just so loaded. I'm going to stick with 10-2. and then 12-0 is probably more likely to me than 10-2. To be honest with you, I know that sounds crazy, but this schedule just sets up for it.
Yeah,
I mean, this schedule just sets up for it. I mean, look, you technically got 3 games on this schedule that you have to look at and say, all right, these are the games.
We have to show up.
If they go 2-1, they go 2-1, they're in the Big Ten championship game. I mean,
yes,
simple as that, and they'll make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I think Ohio State would make the playoffs at 10-2.
Yeah,
it would be close, but I think they'd make it.
They'd be like a 10 seed or something like that.
Bro, yeah, I swear to God, we're on the same page tonight. We're on the same page tonight. All right, flipping from the Buckeyes to the newcomers in the SEC, the Texas Longhorns. They are over under 10.5 as well. They're juiced to the under at -150. The over is +125. So they are favored to go 10-2, and that is, I think that's reasonable. But I mean, this is kind of a soft schedule in the terms of like a SEC schedule. They open with Colorado State, win. They go on the road to Michigan week 2. That's a noon game.
I love that.
That's a noon game in this world of these gross, nasty neutral site games to open the season. I love seeing Texas go up to the big house. I don't know if it's their first time playing there. I'm not too well versed on my college football history to know that, but it'll be the first time they're playing there when I'm watching them. So
yeah, I don't think they've been there before.
Really cool.
If they've been there, it's been since like the 50s or 60s,
like a long time ago.
Yeah, but they haven't played there since I've been growing up. So Texas usually doesn't travel like this.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen them go play a non-con like this on the road. So this will be interesting and fun for sure.
And I think it could be a bad matchup for Texas, just because the way that this Michigan team we think is going to play that smash mouth kind of football. And when you look at Texas, what they lost so much on the interior defensive line that are they going to be able to replace that? I think they've recruited enough to be able to replace that, but at the same time, I don't know. So this will be a really good test early in the season to see what that Texas defensive line is sort of made of, and how are they going to progress when they go deeper into this SEC schedule.
Yeah, honestly, kind of when looking at this schedule, dude, it's a little disappointing that they don't get the true SEC experience. They kind of get the easier side of the East and the West mixed up, besides Georgia.
So I heard a stat today that the Texas Longhorns play 5 of the 6. So if like the SEC has like the odds to win, they play 5 of the 6 worst odds teams to win the SEC, which I would assume would be Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas, and Kentucky. So I mean,
you look at this. They have this team could easily go to the SEC championship game with one loss. Yeah, with a loss at home, probably. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget Oklahoma's going to be a sneaky team. Dude, this right here, dude, this schedule sets up for them to have success, and we just hear the trash talk. Yeah, we're getting the SEC.
I'm honestly surprised this is juiced to the under. I mean, because you do have the UTSA game, you have the UL Monroe game, you have the Mississippi State game. We'll have to see what Mississippi State is gonna be because they have new head coach Jeff Levy. So like how are they gonna be? I don't think they're gonna be good. I think they're gonna be pretty mediocre. And then that game versus Oklahoma, it's always a toss-up.
How many home games they have?
Well, you also have to forget. Well, you also have to remember that the Oklahoma game is neutral site, and I'm really glad that that's a neutral site game. Love it. I mean, but
the
that Oklahoma game the week before Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, that's a sneaky game. One of those two teams is always sneaky to the other one. When you think like that one should win pretty easily, the other one shows up and makes it a ball game and wins it sometimes.
Yeah.
Texas lost that game last year, so that'll be an interesting one. But I mean,
you got Georgia coming into town.
You got Georgia coming into town, and then after that, I mean, maybe Texas A&M because you go to A&M, and that
game's going to be bonkers. That game is going to be bonkers, and you cannot forget they have to go to Arkansas. Do you remember what happened when they went to Arkansas? Steve Sarkisian's first year in the first year there, they got murdered.
Yeah,
murdered. Like it was bonkers.
Well, Arkansas is getting a new quarterback. They got some offensive line issues.
Taylor Green at quarterback from Boise State. Yep.
Yeah. So, we'll see. I think 10-2 is more likely for this team just because you can kind of mark up an L October 19th. I mean, that's just against Georgia.
But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we've seen Kirby Smart take his team on the road for really big games. When they went down to LSU, loss. When they went on the road to Alabama in 2020, loss. And I mean, what other massive road games like that have they been on besides when they went up to Notre Dame in 2017? I mean, so I just because Georgia hasn't been on the road like that.
Yeah,
and I mean,
we'll kind of know Georgia before then because they have to go to Tuscaloosa early.
Go to Alabama, yeah.
So we will know. That game will be more clear to me. Like, okay, can Georgia win a big road game that they're not used to going to? Because you are correct. Georgia lost to Ole Miss his first year. I mean, got throttled to Hugh Freeze. He's got beat by LSU. When they got beat by Auburn on the road one year.
2017
when they were ranked number 1. So this is interesting for sure. This is an interesting game. I mean, Austin, Texas is going to be packed that day with Georgia fans, Texas fans. Then they got the race
Formula
going on the same day.
A logistical nightmare.
I still think 10-2 is more likely. Even though this is an easier SEC schedule, there's going to be
still an SEC schedule.
There's going to be 2 slip-ups somewhere, and it's either going to be Oklahoma, Georgia, or Georgia at A&M. Dude, they might even lose to Michigan. I mean, they could lose one SEC game, So I see 2 because I know that they got a lot of home games, but 10-2 is more likely to me. I think their ceiling is 11-1, and their floor is probably 9-3.
I could definitely see that because I could see them losing to Michigan. I could see them losing to either Oklahoma or Texas A&M. Then I could see them losing to Georgia.
Yeah, I could too. I mean, if they weren't, they're probably going to beat Florida at Arkansas and Kentucky. And they're definitely going to beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
They at least are going to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're at least going to win 8. I can mark them up 8. And then after that, it's toss-up games.
Yep.
The only reason why Oklahoma is a toss-up game, they're clearly better than them, but it's just the Cotton Bowl, and you just don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Records don't matter. Teams don't matter. That game's just crazy.
I mean, we've heard so many people kind of talk about that game, and I think a bunch of people that are primarily SEC fans that really only watch SEC football, I think that they're going to be kind of jolted by these rivalries that Texas has with these teams because, like, Oklahoma versus Texas, that's a massive game, and especially when Texas plays Texas A&M, I just think most people don't remember what that rivalry is and what that rivalry is gonna be. And I mean, I would love to go to that game. Man, I'd love to go to that game because I mean, I think that regardless of the records of the team, I think that that's going to be the best environment in college football, hands down. for the entire.
Oh, dude, it's going to be the second biggest. Dude, Texas is going to get to play in 100,000 plus stadiums twice.
Let's
at
see.
Michigan and at A&M.
Mm-hmm. And that's if you don't count their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the two
I
biggest
think the Cotton Bowls
stadiums.
How big is
Well, the two biggest stadiums, like, are, like, arguably are Michigan, Alabama, Texas A&M. And then Ohio State, Texas gets to play in two of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
And there's going to be a lot of screaming, pissed off Aggies. A lot of screaming, pissed off. Woo! That's for you, Bo.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I've loved getting to break down these schedules. And I think we're going to break down some more with me, you, and Cody later on this week. Do you got any final words before we get out of here?
No, man. Please, guys, go follow us on all social media platforms. We're getting ready to roll the college football season, so we're going to kick off our season at the Florida-Miami game. We got our room. We're going to get our tickets soon, so they'll usually get in touch with me about the middle of August. So we're excited about that. We hope you guys enjoy these videos that we make. So please go like them, share them. We got a chance to go to Tuscaloosa last year, Auburn, Alabama, and then Baton Rouge. So we're excited.
Those were all really sick videos. So go watch them.
Yeah. So we're going to go to Gainesville, and then we haven't fully decided where we're going to go elsewhere. So hope you guys enjoy them, and please share our videos.
All right. Well, I will see you later, my friend.
See y'all.